I'm in my third year studying biology and work part-time at the university library. That Friday, I ended up locking the reading room close to midnight. I had a mountain of coursework, and the usual evening staff called in sick. By the time I'd turned the lights off, the campus looked like a showroom of blacked-out display cases. Just the tiny red dots of fire sensors blinking down the hallway. To save time getting back to the dorm, I usually cut through the old wing, a row of abandoned departments where students aren't allowed unless they have a reason. I had a staff key card, so the gate let me through without a sound. Ahead stretched a long hallway marked H14, H15. Yellowed graduation photos from the 70s lined the walls. The faces faded into amber smudges. When your footsteps stop bouncing off fresh painted walls, you start hearing everything. Halfway to the stairwell, I caught a rough. I figured maybe a fax machine in one of the labs had kicked on. But they removed those years ago. My pace quickened. The sound came again, like someone scratching glass with a marker. The door to the molecular pathology lab had a badge with a double helix. The sign was hanging crooked, like someone tried to rip it off. Beneath the handle, a strip of light glowed. Someone had left a desk lamp on inside. I was ready to keep walking when the lamp flickered, like it was beckoning. Curiosity got the better of me. I pulled a paperclip pick from my pocket. I had a lot of keys, but not this one, and quietly flipped the latch. Inside, it smelled like formalin and old paper. Display cases held jars of stained tissue samples, clear and colorful like hard candy. The sound was coming from the left, a microscope under a plastic cover. I lifted the cover. The scope was off, but something moved in the eyepiece. A dark line slid across, and the plastic in my hand buzzed. I dropped the lid. The light blinked out, like nothing had happened. I figured it was just exhaustion messing with me and made my way to the stairs. But the metal door was sealed, with a fresh red tape. AV, temporary, out of order. That left only the old dumbwaiter, a narrow shaft with accordion-style doors used for samples. I hit the V button as a joke, not expecting anything, and the motor hummed to life. B2 slid across the display. It was rising from below. The doors creaked open, empty, just a cold metal tray and the smell of compensated air. On the wall, 2 buttons, 0, and a faint, worn-off chalked 1. The basement leads to the old anatomical archives, sealed off years ago. No reason to go there. I cautiously pressed 0. The doors closed. The cab jerked, but instead of dropping, it felt like something was against the motor. The display hit 0. The cab stopped, but the door stayed shut. Silence. Then, coming from the panel speaker, a scratchy rhythm, 3 scrapes, pause, 2. I remembered a bioinformatics lecture. That's how old PCR thermocyclers used to beep sample errors. A chill spread through my palm when I realized, this speaker scratch, it doesn't have a needle, just a piezo beeper. The 1 button lit up on its own and sank in. The cab began to descend, way deeper than I expected. 5 seconds, 10, 15, and my ears popped like we broke past the foundation. The doors finally opened into half-darkness. A narrow room full of metal cabinets stretched out. Each was engraved with H13 archive. Between the shelves, a table. On it, a gooseneck lamp. Under the lamp, a pile of plastic student ID cards. On the back of each, a printed date, all the same. That was the night the university evacuated because of a chemical leak. Campus was closed till morning. As for me, I was on duty. I spent the whole night in the library. I picked up 1 card and froze. It was me. The face was definitely mine, but the eyes had been scribbled out with a thick black marker. The kind that scratches glass like a dry hiss. A shadow moved at the edge of the lamplight. Between the shelves, a figure stepped out. Lab coat, my height, but its movements, like a mirror in slow motion. I backed away. It stepped forward holding a marker. Every footstep echoed with that same scratchy rhythm. It said, in my voice, but muffled like underwater, I lunged toward the lift. Doors still closed. The marker clacked against the steel right next to my head, leaving a scratched-in letter. The figure raised its arm again. I slammed my fist on the 0 button. The cab shuddered and jerked upward. At the last second, the door snapped shut on the figure's lab coat. It tore with a sharp rip. Then the lift shot up like an escape pod. When the doors opened, I was back in the main lobby. No sign of warning tape. The night guard was yawning at his monitors like nothing happened. I didn't stop to explain. Outside, I realized my jacket was soaked in sweat. At the dorm, I checked my student ID. The back was blank. But as I exhaled, I noticed a cut on my sleeve, the line soaked through to the skin. It started with a and trailed off, like someone finished writing join. Almost a year has passed. Tomorrow is November 12th. I close the library early now. I avoid the old wing. But every shift, the system software pings me with the same server log. H13. Archive. New entry required error code. Some nights, everything's quiet. Other nights. In the vents near the reading room, I hear a faint winter hiss. Like someone's practicing how to finish spelling my name. If you made it all the way to the end, then you're exactly the kind of person I'm looking for. Hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. I hope I can keep bringing you more stories, to make you smile, or maybe, to scare you.